All right. How is everybody doing? It's Hank and Ricky. This is not going to be, here's the thing at the end of the day. This is going to be kind of like an open kind of thing where we'll let people join to discuss trades and free agency and Odell Beckham's penchant for snorting the Parmesan. The Parmesan.
Yeah, and then like the woman next to him smoking that good stuff.
Smoking that good stuff. Who wants some of that good stuff?
No, but yeah. So I don't know what's going. Like I've never seen this many trades by a singular team in a long time or at all.
Yeah. Oh, also, if you would like to join for this little sesh, click this, and you're in the chat. You may click this link. DM me at that link. Slip into my DMs, and then we'll get things going.
I don't know. Yeah, and then we'll just update people on some more stuff because we got to update them on the podcast and stuff at some point.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So should we do it now or?
Or
we I guess we could update them now, and then like you can make a separate video.
Yeah, I could.
All
so
right, go ahead, Hank.
Because my YouTube channel seems to be dying, what we've decided to do in order to get the podcast more traffic is to upload the podcast episodes on Ricky's channel, and then I'm just going to upload the short segments on mine. And Ricky obviously agreed. And
I he forced me to say yes. No, I'm kidding.
Ricky helped me make this awesome profile picture with the Super Bowl 52 logo on. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I like it. Well, it's not the Super Bowl 52 logo, but his profile pic, no. But like if you're talking about the channel art, yes. Well, I did both, but it's whatever.
Yeah,
it's
he did
nice.
both.
But yeah,
it is what it is.
So basically, if you guys want to see the full length of our podcast, head over to my channel, Space Cowboy 17. But more importantly,
yes.
If you don't feel like you have the attention span of a chimp, then which isn't long.
It's not long. It lasts about 3 years, 3 total seasons minus a game.
Yeah, if you guys really don't enjoy the longer segments, Hank will gladly upload the shorter segments here. But also he'll be doing Eagles stuff here as well to kind of fill in the void because it's whatever. But yeah, so that's just it. I mean, Hank will say it again in a later video. But yeah, we got 4 people.
Well, I'm also going to be uploading some surprises, because I'm full of them. But yeah, we've got how many? We have 4 people in here.
Yeah, so if you guys want to join, DM Hank on that Twitter link. Not only is it in the chat, but you can go into the description box below. DM him if you want to get into this little sesh here, and yeah, we can talk some trades. Well, we were going to talk about that anyway. So yeah, let's see what to talk about.
I'm just linking them to your channel to sub you up.
Yeah, that arrow where it's pointing, you have to click that button or you're gonna die.
You will die. You will.
That's 100%.
Ricky will kill you.
I'll find you. No, I'm kidding.
But again, if you want to join, just DM me on that link, and I have a notification. Somebody's following me. Somebody new is following me, and he's got the Carlton Banks. I think that's this guy. Hold on. That's the what's his name?
Your mom's favorite
YouTuber. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, that looks like that guy, but who knows? I love me some Carlton Banks. That's what I was doing when the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
No, lies.
Yeah. All right. So you have the trade tracker up.
Indeedly, I do. So basically, I guess we should be covering the newer ones, but basically, not only will we talk about the ones that just happened, we'll basically talk about also the ones that transpired since the season more or less ended. I mean, obviously,
we'll go through them all.
Okay,
obviously.
But well, obviously, you know, the Kansas City trade for Alex Smith and stuff that took place before the Super Bowl, but that's an exception because obviously that's a huge exception. But
that one took place for the Super Bowl.
That took place on July 30th, January 30th, 2018.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean.
Gotcha. I was like, June 30th.
Yeah, it happened that day.
So you're saying that Alex Smith was playing with the Kansas City Chiefs all of last season, even though he had already been traded to the Redskins.
Exactly. But yeah, so more or less, the first big trade was probably that one. Obviously, the Alex Smith trade. Washington acquires him, Kendall Fuller, and
who I accidentally called Kyle Fuller a bunch of times.
Who cares?
Same guy.
So Kansas City gets Kendall Fuller, and a third-round pick for Alex Smith. Which, by the way, that is a fantastic deal if you're the Chiefs.
This is where we vehemently. This is not where we vehemently disagreed, but I remember there was a big disagreement over whether Alex Smith or whether Alex Smith was better than. It was basically just whether Alex Smith was better than Kirk Cousins.
Oh,
I feel like
I think that was the argument. I said what did I say? I think I said no, but it's kind of hard to say who's better because you don't know how they're going to integrate.
Alex Smith is the better field manager. Kirk Cousins will put up 4,500 yards. And I think the moment Kirk Cousins, we could talk about along with this where Kirk Cousins is probably going to go and how much money he's going to get.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get like $150 million.
So I guess we need to talk about. So Kansas City performed 2 trades, and well, if you want to be technical, you know, LA
also traded Marcus Peters.
Yes, so it looks like Kansas City is trying to go through a transition phase, more so becoming a more dominant offensive team. Yeah, so basically that happened on February 23rd. Basically, Kansas City got a 2nd-round pick next year and a 4th-round pick this year, and Marcus Peters got sent to LA for a 6th-round pick this year. Now, a lot of people say that the Chiefs were stupid for doing this. I don't really think it is. And I know, some people were saying they're doing this because, it's because they don't respect Marcus Peters. They have a judgmental attitude towards him. It's like, no, it's because they probably.
He's also kind of a loose cannon ever since he threw that yellow referee's flag at a bunch of Jews.
Oof. But anywho,
it's true. It happened. I mean, they just so happen to catch it. So whether they call it the luck of the Irish or the luck of the Jews, they seem to catch yellow flags.
But Marcus Peters, I always said that he was not. I don't want to be rude and say he sucks, but it's like I personally felt he was an overrated cornerback.
He's really good in coverage, but not so good at tackling. It's also the Chiefs really didn't do well in defense this year. Like all year, they were not really that good defensively. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, I got you.
I mean, their defense was okay, but their run defense really suffered.
Yes, so if you boys want to join in, feel free to. Just make sure to DM Hank for links and blah.
Dism.
Yeah, so moving on. Now, I guess we're going to get into the more relatively recent trades. So LA decided to throw Robert Quinn at Miami for a 4th and 6th. And, they got a 4th and 6th this year, keep in mind you. And Miami got Robert Quinn in a 6th-round pick. Now, me personally, the trade makes sense if you're LA because you want to open up cap space.
Exactly.
And I think like a lot of people think like, well, me personally, I think that Miami was dumb for taking the trade personally, in my personal opinion.
They got Robert Quinn, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is that guy. He plays D end or D tackle.
I think he plays defensive tackle. I don't remember, but yeah, I just personally feel that and again, there isn't really a winner or loser so far because you don't know how the trade will pan out.
Yeah.
Like, look, for example, the Carson Wentz trade. Like, everyone thought that Cleveland was a bunch of geniuses.
Yeah, it was really funny. Besides the fact that they didn't get a quarterback for 2 years, and instead of getting Carson Wentz, they got RG3.
Oof.
RG 0-3.
RG 0-3. Well, technically, he got him their only win, so.
That is true. No, yeah, that is true. Actually, he did.
Yeah, so yeah, like he posted on Twitter. He posted on Twitter like someone was saying that he sucked, and he was like, "Yeah, but I'm responsible for your only win." So
that's but a ching,
Yeah, and
ooh, you burned him, RG3. Ouch!
Yeah.
Those poor Browns fans.
Yeah,
You're a factory of sadness.
But now I guess we're getting to probably the most active part of the trade market, which is going on now. So I guess the one that kicked it off was the Eagles trading for Michael Bennett.
Yeah,
Michael Bennett for Marcus
Johnson.
3
days ago. It was Michael Bennett, a 5th-round draft pick, Michael Bennett and a 7th-round draft pick for Marcus Johnson and a 5th-round draft pick.
Which for Seattle, it makes sense because obviously you're going to be in a rebuild mode at this point.
They're clearing out all their space, and we get to add a defensive end to our roster and all of that stuff. I mean, I don't really like Michael Bennett. He's probably the only Eagles player that I've ever really not liked, like on a personal level. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like DJ said, if he plays well, then that erases all that stuff. I mean, Eagles fans hated Michael Vick until like 2010, where he was like put up that really good season, and all the Eagles fans forgot about how he was responsible for ordering the execution of animals.
Order 66. So. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I had to do a dumb Star Wars joke. But
oh yeah, right.
Another thing. Moving on, because I don't want to really keep touching base with the Michael Bennett trade because we already talked about it.
Yeah, because they talked about it, yeah.
Now, the next thing that happened was the Alec Ogletree trade, which I personally feel that LA definitely did. No, I think it worked for both teams because, New York needs a linebacker.
Uh-huh.
But more importantly, it clears up a ton of cap space for LA, which, if you're looking at New York, it kind of sucks if you're them because guess what? Now you have not a lot of cap space.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, New York needs defenders. They've been the most dominant when it's merely just come to trading. Mm-hmm. They've done the most trading. I think they've gotten 3 or 4 players via trading. So you forgot to mention that they also went ahead and got Aqib Talib.
Well, I was going to move on to that. I was kind of focusing on each trade. So
remember Michael Crabtree, Talib, your chain at home.
Yeah, exactly. Considering for those that don't know, the Raiders are going to be playing LA this year. I guess now we're getting into the biggest trade blockbuster. Well, not necessarily this one where the Eagles traded Torrey Smith. Like it was a straight up player trade. Torrey Smith.
It was a player trade. The Eagles get to
just it's a salary
dump salary cap space, like $4 million, and then get a guy who's only getting like $600,000 a year. So
yeah, which
it worked out. Yeah.
Now we need to move on to arguably, and I kid you not, this is probably the most active I've seen a team in free agency since the Eagles back in when they were assembling the Dream Team. and I said that this is gonna be like the Browns' dream team. Nah, but in all seriousness, though, okay. So the first big trade. So first, now this is what kind of knocked me off. Well, not the Jarvis Landry one, but Jarvis Landry got traded to Cleveland for a 7th and 4th round pick, and I was sitting here like,
his career is over.
I'm like, well, not only that, I'm like, really? Like, but I will tell you this. The reason why people are asking, well, why wasn't it for more? Miami's dumb. Well, let me put it to you this way. It's a franchise tag. You're not if it was a long-term deal, you would have seen a 2nd or a 3rd round pick be thrown for Jarvis Landry, but I think if you're Miami, this is probably, people are looking at them like, what the F are you doing? But
it was kind of, I kind of saw that, and I was like, we kind of knew that that Jarvis Landry was gonna get traded to someone. We were thinking maybe Baltimore or like somewhere where he could actually be used to succeed. But I mean, the thing about Jarvis Landry is, and I've said this for the last 3 years, he's a very overrated player.
Oh yeah,
yes, he had 9 touchdowns last year, which is really good for wide receivers. I mean, receivers didn't really have a lot of touchdowns. I mean, Julio Jones had 3 touchdowns this year, which to put that into perspective with people. But he kind of goes missing through games. You kind of have to put him on a milk carton sometimes because he's a talented guy, but he's kind of like a one-trick pony in the sense of he's kind of like your prototypical Deshaun Jackson, who will always go deep or always run drag routes. He's a guy that doesn't have as much power. He's got a lot of speed. He's got a lot of breakaway speed, but he's kind of like that decoy player that people put 2 guys on.
Yeah, and it's like
he doesn't have a lot of. He really doesn't make as much production. Is the thing.
I got you. It's just like that's another thing. Is like a lot of people don't realize that it's weird because it's like me personally, I wasn't even expecting Landry to be traded at all. Like I don't think anyone was expecting that. But
no, I was.
Well,
I was.
I guess like not to the team that I anticipated. But anywho, moving on, I guess. Then I think this probably shocked me a bit more than I anticipated, but I'm not surprised considering the trade they did next. So at first when they did this, I was like, what the frick? Like, so the Cleveland got Demarius Randall, a 4th round pick and a 5th round pick for Deshaun Kaiser and a 4th round pick and a 5th round pick. So literally they just swapped picks. But and they swapped players.
Which is like you look at that and that's actually a good trade for the Browns.
Oh yeah.
And for some reason, I mean, I don't know why the Packers would. I mean, Deshaun Kaiser was the worst quarterback last year.
And I felt bad for him, though. It's a rookie quarterback, but still, at the end of the day, this, like, me personally...
They kind of already had... like, a better version of Deshaun Kaiser and Brett Hundley. And then you trade for the same guy. It just doesn't really make that much sense to me. Maybe they feel like there's untapped potential with Deshaun Kaiser, but he doesn't really seem like he's gonna help them that much.
Unless they're looking to trade Brett Hundley to some team.
Unless they are, but again, that's another situation where Brett Hundley didn't really play that well either.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did have to take over for Aaron Rodgers' team, but he didn't really play that well.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think that's another thing is that, and like, look, I personally feel that, if based off of what they did with Kaiser, I think they're going to assume that they're probably going to ship Hundley off, maybe. I don't know. Because I heard that the Raiders are interested in Brett Hundley. I heard that the Cardinals are interested in him.
Really?
But, yeah, it's an apparent rumor, or report. But then again, because
how far can you take rumors and reports? Not very far.
Yeah, exactly. But my thing is like, once again, I think if you're Cleveland, you made a solid trade. I mean, you get another good corner. Well, solid corner, I should say. He's not necessarily good. But yeah. Then
isn't he a former first overall pick?
I think he's a first rounder. I don't remember. But still, the point remains is that like Cleveland so far has made really good trades, considering like you get Jarvis Landry. Obviously he's playing on the franchise tag, so like it's an experimental year for him. You have him and Josh Gordon, right? And then you're like, okay, so what happens if this doesn't work out? Well, then we can just let Jarvis walk.
Yeah.
So that was a good trade. And considering they had way too many picks.
It's probably kind of like a show me contract.
Yeah, exactly. Similar to what the Alshon contract was with Philly, and then he proved that good.
Yeah, exactly.
Then probably the least surprising but somewhat surprising trade where Cleveland got Tyrod Taylor in exchange for a 3rd-round pick from Buffalo. We knew Buffalo was going to get rid of Tyrod.
Yeah, it was just when they were going to do it. The thing is, we were talking on the Facebook chat thing that we have between the 4 of us, where I kind of said that Tyrod is kind of like the African-American version of Sam Bradford, in the sense where they're never going to be truly responsible for losing a game, but they also will never be truly responsible for winning a game either. So in a sense, do you guys even know? Nope. So in a sense, you're trading for a guy who, yes, helped take the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs, and it was really admirable that he was able to do that. He's the first Buffalo Bills quarterback to take the team to a playoff game since Doug Flutie. So, I mean, Tyrod deserves a lot of credit, but you look at his statistics and you see that he's thrown for around 3,000 yards and 14 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Those just aren't the statistics of a franchise quarterback.
I gotcha. I mean, but then again, it's like, I personally feel like Tyrod Taylor got the short end.
Oh, he definitely did.
The stick, and
they gave up on him too fast. They had way too much faith in Nathan Peterman.
Yeah.
Way too much faith in Nathan Peterman. And they you should never bench a player and then bring them back during halftime. You should never do that.
Yeah, and
that's like football 101.
And then of course, EDP's beefs. Do you guys know what the F you're talking about? Nope, we don't. We don't know what we're talking about.
I know nothing.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
I know nothing. But I do feel like he can. I feel like Tyrod can be a good stopgap, but he's not the kind of player he's really not the kind of player you want to build off of.
I kind of feel like that he's underrated, but at the same time, you could argue he's overrated in some aspects. Like, I think that he's a solid middle tier quarterback that, like, if you need a guy to kind of come in and fill in a spot, he can do that.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like Buffalo did do him dirty.
Oh, they definitely did. And there's a reason why the Bucs haven't done anything or haven't even gone to the playoffs since 1999. There's a big reason for that. They've been one of the most unstable franchises. Donald Trump was inquiring about buying their franchise a few years ago. I mean, when Donald Trump's trying to buy your franchise, you know that you're off to a bad start or on the wrong side of the sticks. But I think that I like Tyrod. He's just not he's just not an Aaron Rodgers. He's not a Drew Brees. He's not a Tom Brady. He's not a Ben Roethlisberger. He's not one of those guys who's going to put up a lot of numbers. And a lot of people are going to say, well, he doesn't have a lot of guys around him. Well, he does have one of the best running backs in the league. He does. Mm-hmm. He had what, Watkins, right? Kelvin Benjamin.
And he had
he did have Watkins for majority of his time there. So he has guys. He has Charles Clay, one of the most underrated tight ends in the league. So he has guys. It's just he reminds me a lot of how they work in African American quarterbacks, kind of like what's his name? Who's the guy who played for the Vikings? Quarterback, what's his name? Bridgewater. Yeah, Bridgewater.
Yeah.
You see a lot of Bridgewater statistics of, through 14 touchdowns, 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So it's a lot of that. They base a lot of their play off the running game, and the quarterback uses their legs to get themselves out of bad situations. Do you want to answer this question?
The one about, do you think DeMarco Murray should resign with the Cowboys? By the way, after the Cowboys, yeah, whatever. But look, for DeMarco Murray's sake, if he wants to continue his career, he has to sign with Dallas, because I feel like, look, the guy is not going to be a starter in this league anymore, based off of what's been transpiring. I think that if a team that's desperate for a running back, I don't want to say the Giants, but you could argue them,
or the Lions,
or the Lions. Yeah, if they're desperate enough for a running back, they'll go after him. But look, I personally feel that DeMarco, he's not going to get an offer from anybody, and then he's going to retire, because
and you also have to understand that he's kind of like he's like 30 years old, right? He's an old 30. Like LaShawn McCoy, he's 32, but he's a young 30 because he came into the NFL when he was 20. DeMarco Murray came into the NFL when he was like 22, 23. So in that sense, I really do feel like he's going to have to take a back seat. I know that when the Eagles signed him, he was, he got big money to be there, and he took a larger contract to play with Philly rather than Dallas. He's going to have to lower his expectations. He's going to have to lower his expectations for contracts. And, I just don't feel like he would get signed by Dallas. I mean, let's be honest. Dallas right now has Morris. Morris has proven himself to be a really good number 2. They
also have Rod Smith.
Yes.
Darren McFadden retired.
Rod Smith. Yes. Rod Smith from Ohio State. Mm-hmm. Yes, Rod Smith. I was thinking of Lance Dunbar. But I even think Lance Dunbar would be a better, because, DeMarco Murray, he's had leg injuries for a certain amount of time. He's had a fumbling issue. I just don't see him coming back anytime soon. And, he might retire, or he might join a team that's desperate, like the Lions, like the Buccaneers. Would you like to field this question by EDP Beefs too? You can do that too.
Yeah, Earl Thomas could be traded to my Cowboys, I hope. Yeah, I really hope the Cowboys go after him, because, look, and I know that people are going to be like, well, he's 28, and you're going to end up having an older player. You got to keep in mind that the dude has a mantra to him. He has this mentality of, leading a young secondary. And I feel like that him coming to Dallas would be amazing. He wants to be here. You know it. Not only does he want to be here, he wants to help. He has connections with Chris Richard. So obviously, Dallas has that Seattle connection. And I personally feel that, look, people were saying, well, the Cowboys aren't doing anything. Well, you don't know that. For all you know, the Cowboys could be talking about a trade that could end up coming through on Monday or Tuesday. Who knows? And because free agency is supposed to open, tomorrow? Or on the 14th? Does anyone know?
The 12th. The 12th to the 14th, I think.
Wow,
Which I did say that we'll get to Richard Sherman in a little bit, but I forgot that they cut Richard Sherman. So it was like, why are teams contacting him if that's like tampering? But it's not. I totally forgot that he'd already been released, and you can contact released players whenever the hell you want.
Yeah, and I personally feel that if the Cowboys want to go after a player, they have to go after Earl Thomas, because I feel like that he would be the best fit for the secondary. Because if you look at the Cowboys' defense, their defensive line is solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you got their linebacking core, which is the biggest issue, and you're going to have to either take a safety high or a linebacker high in the draft. Me personally, it's going to boil down to one or two things. They're either going to trade for a guy or get someone in free agency to fill that spot at safety and then go for a linebacker, or they're going to trade up and get that player. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
my question is, what is your feeling on Jaylon Smith? Because here's the thing that happened, right? They brought and it was just I don't think they should they should have played him, but it was they should have played him on a more on not as much of a not as much of a level as, we're gonna play him the whole time. I think they should have put him in here and there because he's coming back from wasn't an Achilles injury or something like that.
For who?
Jaylon Smith.
Yeah, he had a horrible knee injury, I believe, in the last or the second to last game.
No, it was the bowl game.
Oh yeah, the bowl game. Yeah, I was like, I knew it was
but it was one of those things where, and I remember, and because I watched every Cowboys preseason game because Kelly's a huge Cowboys fan, and I remember like they highlighted him. He was running towards the ball, and I think Jaylon Smith is an amazing story because he was not supposed to play ever again, but he won like player of the game but he like made just like one tackle, which, if you want to pump a guy up, I understand that. I mean, I didn't watch him play in college, but I heard he was really, really good.
Oh, he was a top 5 pick in college until that knee injury, and people were comparing him and Miles Jack. Now here's the thing, a lot of people are criticizing the Cowboys for missing on Jalen Ramsey and Miles Jack. Here's
they were saying you could have had Jalen Ramsey instead of Ezekiel Elliott.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah, I'm just saying what they said.
No. Yeah, I got you, and I'm gonna respond to that. It's like people need to realize that the Dallas Cowboys, what was their mantra? Run the ball, play keep away. That's how you win playoff games, people.
I mean, they wouldn't have had the season they had 2 years ago if it hadn't been for Ezekiel Elliott.
Exactly.
My feeling is, when it comes to stuff like that, you see a situation where, you might have gotten a guy and he might work one season or he might not work another. It's a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of cause and effect in sports where you think you might not get a good player or make a good move, but later down the road it might end up being a good move. Because now I hate to compare everything to the Eagles Super Bowl, but I mean, a lot of the things that a lot of Chimp Kelly's moves that were really bad ended up turning into something good down the road, And if it hadn't been for his utter stupidity, then the Eagles probably wouldn't be at where they are right now,
Yeah, exactly. And that's my thing, is just look, you
can't have any regrets, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, obviously we saw Jaylon Smith. Now people were getting on him because we were playing him so many minutes, and people were like, "Oh my god, this dude can't cut, or he can't commit because he has no confidence." Guys, listen, we saw later in the season, Jaylon Smith looks solid, and I think they're gonna let Hitchens walk, unfortunately, and they're gonna play. So basically, their linebacking core is going to consist of Jaylon Smith, Sean Lee, Jaylon Smith, and some other unknown linebacker that they're probably going to go after. So
yeah, they might. I would possibly see the Cowboys drafting a linebacker to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't buy I don't buy the fact that they're gonna draft a wide receiver. I think that's a wasted pick for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of the stuff that happened with their wide receiver position, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Dez Bryant is one of the most talented wide receivers. I think a lot of it has to do with his mental. What's going on? It's a lot. A lot got into his head, and I think that his success gets to his head, and I think that what's the media sensation that is the Dallas Cowboys gets to his head, and how he acts towards members of the media gets to his head. I think he really needs to have the support from his teammates, and I think that because that's when he really thrives, when he has the support from his teammates, not necessarily when he's begging for the football, but I think that the team needs to be more cohesive, and the team really lost their cohesiveness because of what transpired with Zeke this season.
Yeah, and I know he brings up. I honestly think that the past injuries and Zeke's suspension killed their season, and I think the Zeke suspension was the primary thing that put the nail in the coffin for the Cowboys season, because clearly they were riding high. They beat the Chiefs, who were at the time. I know they were sliding, but they were hallmarked as one of the better teams in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They just beat
the Patriots.
Yeah, they did beat the Patriots, so therefore the Cowboys are better. No, I'm kidding.
What was it? What was it? The thing where it was like if the Chiefs beat the Patriots, and the Niners beat the Giants, and the Giants beat the Chiefs, so therefore the 49ers are the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, it was like so stupid. But look, at the end, based off of what's been going on, we clearly saw the Cowboys were 5-3. They were scoring at least 28 points a game, statistically speaking. So they were they were firing on all cylinders offensively. It was just defensively they had some relapses. So think about it. If the defense is closed out and they held their ground in the the Packers and the Rams games, I know I flip-flopped those. Then you're looking at a team that's sitting at, let's see, so they would be sitting at 7-1. I'm not trying to say that to be a homer, but if you sincerely take those two games and flip them to W's, the Cowboys are in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, but at the same time, injuries happen to every team.
No, but that is true, and I'm trying to get on that whole perspective too.
It's a lot because this year's Eagles totally killed the whole thing of injuries being detrimental to your team, because a lot of the players the Eagles were starting weren't high caliber players. Big V is not considered a high caliber player, but he relatively held his own. Nick Foles isn't really known for being a high caliber player. But when you lose players, you got to replace them with somebody else. I don't think it was injuries that killed the Cowboys season. I think it was just the bad attention. I really do feel
it felt like the 2008 season all over.
It was the body language.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the body language from them sitting on the sidelines. It was like they were so out of it. I mean, last year, that sideline was just amped, completely amped. I mean, I watched every Cowboys game, so I know. But this year, it was a completely different thing. And if you don't want to say that the whole Zeke suspension affected him and it was a ripple effect with the whole team, that's exactly what happened. And I know a lot of Eagles fans like to talk about how Dak Prescott is the sixth, is temporarily the sixth best quarterback in the NFC East. I really don't care how good he is, because sometimes the success of a team doesn't have everything to do with how good your quarterback is, and the fact that you can't really judge a guy off of 2 seasons. I mean, his first season was amazing. His second season was kind of run of the mill, but
to be fair, it was a bad quarterback year.
Yeah, it was a really bad quarterback year. I mean, Carson Wentz was the best quarterback last year. Or was it Carson Wentz or was Russell Wilson? I mean, the MVP of last season didn't even have the most touchdown passes. Tom Brady only had 32 touchdown passes. Russell Wilson had 36, I think, and then Wentz had 33. A lot of quarterbacks got injured.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a good quarterback year, and it also wasn't a very good receiver year either. I think the best receiver was Antonio Brown, and I think he had the most touchdowns receiving by a lot. I think the average receiving touchdown by receivers was like 3, which, I mean, is kind of like below average. You're looking for starting receivers to possibly average 5 touchdown catches per season, but it was just the season. I mean, it was a defensive year.
Yeah, and I just want to say something real quick because and he's bringing up like he had a sophomore. So I agree, Matt Ryan. Yeah, I got you. Like, look at Matt Ryan for example, and I tell people this all the time. Like, people and my own fan base, for God's sake, they want to throw Dak under the bridge, under the bus, under everything.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it to you this way: if you look at Matt Ryan, just remove that MVP season, he doesn't look anything special. Seriously, like he looks like other than that,
he does. Just because if you look earlier in his career, he had a season where he threw for like 27. The Falcons played poorly. They had like a 4-win season or something like that, and he still threw for like 27 touchdowns.
No, but like my point I'm trying to get at, well, in his rookie year they went 11-5, but but my point is like if you look statistically speaking, like don't get me wrong, I think Matt Ryan's good. I'm not trying to say he isn't, but like my point is like he looks like a pretty above average to decent, like a top, like if you were like tiers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you'd like be top 2, like the tier 2. Look, Cam Newton.
I mean, Matt,
I gotta bring up
he's definitely not elite. Like he averages 26 touchdowns a season, which is pretty damn good.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that the dude sucks once again. It's just like, well, I guess a more comparable guy because, so like look at Cam Newton for example, right? Take out Cam Newton's 2015 MVP season. What does he look like? He just looks like another above average quarterback in the league. Again, no disrespect to these people, but what I'm trying to get at is that quarterbacks normally fluctuate from like good seasons and bad. Like obviously it was hard to replicate the season Dak Prescott did at first. You knew that he wasn't, like me personally, I thought he could have broke it based off of what we saw. Like we saw before the Zeke suspension, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and I believe he had like 4 rushing touchdowns. So he was on pace for 30 plus touchdowns in that season. Yeah. And then the whole team just fell apart.
Yeah, it's a lot of like the whole Nick Foles thing where he had 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and the moment it was week 8 when he left with 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Mm-hmm. And people were like, "Oh, he sucks." And I was like, "You really thought he was going to have 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions again? Like, come on." And Nick Foles is considered a journeyman backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what parity is in the National Football League, and people don't really understand that. I mean, the Eagles won the Super Bowl this year; they could be 4-12 next year, easily.
Yeah, and then like,
I mean, I don't think it's ever happened before, but I mean,
yeah, and then like, and I think it's just the expectations of like, look, dude, you led your team. You had the like, I don't want to say the Cinderella story, but like, he pretty much did. Like, he literally caught the league by storm. Dak Prescott, I'm referring to, and him and Zeke just tore up the NFL, going 13-3. And let me put it to you this way: I mean, people want to make fun of him for not winning that playoff game, but it's like, if you sincerely look at it, he brought him back from.
It was so much their defense's fault than their defense.
Exactly,
just
like it ended up becoming a shootout in the sixth, not the sixth. It literally became a shootout in the fourth quarter, and it was going to come down to whoever had the ball last won the game. I even said that during the game: whoever has the ball last is going to win the game, and that's why I thought Dallas was driving to win the game. I knew that's what they were trying to do because they knew their defense, couldn't do crap.
Yeah.
And it's just, and that's what I hate is like people like forget that Dak Prescott literally put the team on his back along with Zeke. More so Dak putting the team on his back to bring the Cowboys back to have at least a chance at winning the game. And they had a chance at winning the game. Like people want to get on like the choking crap of, oh, the Cowboys choked in the playoffs. Well, I would argue that Dak Prescott, and I don't want to trigger any Romo-sexuals here, I would argue that Dak's playoff game was better than, I don't want to say it was better than any of Romo's playoff games because outside of the 2015 season, like 2014, he had an amazing
Not
season.
true. Not true.
How do you mean?
The playoff game against the Eagles in 2009, I think Romo that was better in that one.
Yeah.
That was his first playoff win, and that was the first playoff win by the Dallas Cowboys in
a long time.
In maybe 15 or 16 years.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact stat line, but like once again, it's just like, considering the situation, I mean, like, then again, Dak is relatively young.
The stat line,
and
I
have to agree with EDP's beef. Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, Romo had some confidence issues, especially early on in his career.
His stat line was 23 for 25, 244 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 sacks, 2 rushes, 4 yards, 104.9 passer rating.
I mean,
and I remember Dak had an interception too.
Yeah, but then again, I'm not trying to, knock because obviously, and I feel bad for him because it's like I feel like that was a stupid play call by the Cowboys because it's like you literally like I believe they literally ran the ball and they got 9 yards, and it's like Zeke was cheering him up. We like the Cowboys were doing. I felt like the Cowboys were playing the game perfectly in terms of coming back. They didn't give up the run game well until the very last drive, obviously, because you had to pass the ball. And people want to get, and I know this is supposed to be talking about, we went on this huge tangent, but then again, we pretty much talked about everything. But when you're watching that last drive, I told people they're driving to win the game. They're driving to win the game. Even I knew it. Like, they're like, why did they spike the ball? It's because they're driving. I guarantee you if Dak literally has 2 more seconds to throw the ball on that 3rd down play, Dez is taken off in the middle of the field, and he either has a touchdown or he gets down to the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
And it's just like a lot of people like –
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got 7 people watching, guys. I know that thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Please hit the like button.
My dog didn't like that.
His dog does feel free, if you want to join the conversation, DM – Hank at the Twitter link in the description box below, or he'll post it in the chat. Go feel free to DM him to join this conversation. We're just pretty much having that one. We're just having a general conversation. We haven't gone to Odell Beckham Jr.
Let's get to Odell.
Speaking of which, I know that Odell wants to be the highest paid player in the NFL, but I'm sorry, Odell. I think he became the highest player.
He might be the highest paid receiver, but he'll never be the highest paid player because of how much the NFL values the quarterback position.
Yeah, obviously. And I think that, look, I'm waiting to see what the NFL does on this. I think they're not going to do crap.
I don't think they're going to do crap either because he's a member of the New York Giants, which everybody knows the Giants players, they get away with everything because, let's be honest here, John Mara owns the Giants and he also owns Roger Goodell. He owns everything that he does and says, and he owns every decision that's made. And also that he is also a large impact NFL player. Like if he was like Jonathan Martin, then of course he would be arrested, throw away the key, never talk to him again. Like 99.9% of NFL players, get off scot-free with basically whatever they do. The only exceptions are Michael Vick, Aaron Hernandez,
Yeah.
But Odell Beckham, the video was Odell Beckham snorting or about to. I didn't see the video, but snorting or about to snort an unknown substance.
Oof. Yeah, that being that of the cocaine.
Oh, so she was snorting it, and he was holding. He was holding a joint.
Either way, it looks bad.
Yeah, but I don't think anything bad's gonna happen to him. I know that. I know that. Like,
no.
John Mara is gonna be like, Roger, you better not, or else I'll send everybody those pictures you don't want. I'll send everyone the pictures from the Christmas party.
Him and Tom Brady at the Christmas party.
Woo! Ball gags.
Yeah, Juggernaut asks, what do you guys think about Seattle tearing down? What do you guys think about Seattle tearing down the Legion of Boom? I think we knew it was going to happen because
nothing lasts forever besides diamonds, death, and taxes. Or nothing's a given besides death and taxes.
You ruined it.
And diamonds are forever.
You ruined it. No, I'm kidding. But let me just put it into perspective, okay? We knew that this was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. They had a run from 2012, I would say, to 2016.
And it was like 2010 to 2016.
You want to say 2010?
Yeah, because I mean, most of them were there. I mean, that's when Earl Thomas got there. Richard Sherman got there in 2011. I think Cam Chancellor was there in 2011. And also wasn't 2010 the playoff game where they beat the Saints where they were 7-9.
The beast mode run. Yeah. So basically, so from their first play, so from 2010 to 2016, they had 7-9, 7-9. Then they broke through. They hit 11-5, 13-3, 12-4, 10-6, and 10-5-1. So clearly they had a fantastic run, and I mean, and also in that span of time,
and they won a Super Bowl and went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they had one. So they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They won 9 playoff games, and one of which was a Super Bowl. The other, which they managed to get back to the Super Bowl, nearly repeated.
Yeah, but they lost to thanks to stupid play calling.
And I think that changed the course of that team because obviously I feel like that if they had won that Super Bowl, that team is a completely different team than the team that went.
Yeah, they might be a dynasty.
Well,
a dynasty.
The three-peat.
A dynasty.
Well, I don't know about a three-peat because I feel like that the Panthers would have beat them. But assuming that the Panthers would have. Yeah. So again, but the point being is that this Seattle team had a very good run from, I bring up 2012 because that's when Russell Wilson came along. But and that's kind of
Russell Wilson was like a wonder because he was like a 3rd-round rookie.
Yeah, and like the fact of the matter is that in his 2nd year he took the team to the Super Bowl is just amazing. But then again, you gotta
only a few guys have ever done that in NFL history. I mean, I think the last one was Ben Roethlisberger, and before him was Tom Brady.
Yeah, and obviously you could argue then Carson Wentz, but Carson Wentz
didn't start the Super Bowl.
And people need to chill out about Carson Wentz too. It's like, guys, listen, I know you guys want to think that he's going to be that MVP guy, but you don't know how. Like, if you rush him back, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's why I want Nick Foles to stay. I don't trust.
Like obviously the Cowboys, obviously us as Cowboys fans are hoping that the Eagles screw it up and they trade Foles for someone. But
unless like it's a first and a fourth, then I'd trade Foles because
you're not gonna get that. But then again, like I
hope they sell him high, and then because the Eagles really they can't lose in this situation.
Can you imagine if the Dolphins traded for Nick Foles?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Juggernaut says it's Russell Wilson's team now. No more. He has a good D. Exactly. Like, and I feel bad for Russell Wilson because it's like,
Well, I mean, you might have to ask his wife.
exactly.
No,
No, but with Russell Wilson, I feel that his team has just, in essence, like, yeah, I would say they should give Carson Wentz some time. Exactly. Like, look, you won the Super Bowl. Don't be in a rush to win another one because obviously you have all the time in the world to win another one. Considering I think your window is definitely well open with Carson Wentz at the helm.
yeah, it's just depending on what you're able to. It depends on what you're able to like get with him, but yeah, don't rush. I don't want him rushed back. I want Nick Foles starting next season, and then because people are saying that Nick Foles his value will never be as high as it is right now. I totally disagree, especially with the fact that I expect 3 or 4 quarterbacks next season to get injured before the end of the season, mid-season, before the trade, maybe 2 before the trade deadline. I know that there will be teams that especially are in like the mentality of the Minnesota Vikings were in 2016, where they're like, we want to win right now, and so they're going to way overpay for Nick Foles at that point in time.
Yeah, Ufarino.
I know that.
Yeah. So give me one sec. Hold up, because people were.
I'm not sold on him being a solid backup either. I don't care what the coaching. People are like, oh, the coaching staff says he's really good. They're really impressed with him.
Yes. So,
you like my voice. I like. They're really impressed with him. Ooh.
So I can't post the link to my channel, but for those that don't know, I have a channel as well, Space Cowboy 17.
I posted a link to it already.
Well, it's not recent, Hank. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, my bad.
Oof. No,
hold on.
You're being, yeah, but and I'm not doing this because for the reason why I bring that up is because we do a podcast every Wednesday at around 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, and sometime if you live in Europe, I don't know. But speaking of time, make sure to set your clocks ahead an hour.
Unless you live in Arizona, don't.
Unless you live in Arizona, which that's the reason why I want to move to Arizona because they don't have that nonsense.
Yeah, they don't do it. It was.
I always thought it was stupid. I always thought it was.
You do daylight savings here? Nope. It only started happening after World War II.
Yeah, because it was to conserve energy.
Conserved, he's nuts. Gotti.
Anywho, let me put it to you this way: the Dolphins, are they the worst run franchise?
No, the Browns are.
The Browns are. Don't kid yourself, people.
Don't at me. But the Dolphins, the thing is, I followed this guy D1 Chosen, the Finn Squad Enforcer, and he was kind of like my journey into the fan base of the Miami Dolphins, and I don't know if Adam Gase is a genius or not. That's not really for me to. That's not really for me to kind of diagnose. But I mean, I respect the fact that they believe in their head coach, which is really good if you believe in your head coach. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. But I mean, so did the Eagles fans when Chimp was the Eagles head coach. It's just one of those things where he wants control over his team. He was kind of anointed as being this genius after the 2000, he was anointed as basically being the best head coaching pickup in 2016. And then they happened to have the best season out of any of the other head coaching candidates. And they had a well-oiled machine on offense. And maybe you could possibly think that maybe the success got to his head to the point where he's willing to do whatever he wants to do. And it doesn't matter if you're one of the best receivers in the league. It doesn't matter if you're, an up-and-coming running back. He is willing to part ways with you by any means necessary. And in a sense, all of these moves could end up working them out to something, but he kind of looked like a buffoon last year. That's just me. I mean, especially bringing Jay Cutler in. That's just
specifically who the Miami
Adam Gase.
Oh, Adam Gase. People are saying Adam Gase is now the new Chip Kelly.
Yeah, that's what people are saying. I don't really know because I haven't. I have not been keeping track, and B, I don't really care either. But he kind of looked like a buffoon last year, especially with Jay Ajayi winning a Super Bowl. Which that trade, by the way, works for both teams because the Eagles get a running back who's decent, and the Dolphins get a 3rd round draft pick. But
by the way, people in my Discord, I'm gonna link them this thing, to you because
what's a Discord?
It's a thing that you're too old to know about. Basically, it's like a community.
Oh, okay. Can I run for mayor?
No.
Oh. But as for the organization, who runs them? The Tannenbaum? Is that the guy who runs the Dolphins? Something Tannenbaum?
Yeah, so you should be getting some DMs from random people. Just hold on, let me make sure. Hold on.
Oh damn. Slip into my DMs. But I think we'll do this for about 30 more minutes and then hang it up.
Yeah, and then we'll just kill people. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
let me actually look at the Dolphins.
But they have a lot of they're a lot of they've drafted relatively well. They've had a lot of decent players. It's just they've been unable to put it together. And I mean, you could say it's Adam Gase's fault, but he's not. Yeah. He's not the coaches before him were bad. The teams before him were relatively bad too. So you can't really blame it on one coach if everything is bad.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to EDP's Beefs for subbing me up. Thank you, EDP's Beefs. You provide the best content imaginable to YouTube, that being EDP and all of his beefs.
Yeah, all of his beefs.
I think for your next video, for your quote-unquote beefs, and I'm not trying to give you, make him making a hamburger.
Yeah,
because he did that.
My favorite EDP's beefs was the beef that he had with Event Status.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because okay, I hate to be talking about EDP, but we have EDP's beefs in here, so we might as well.
He's the GOAT.
He is the beefs. We used to have EDP's lotion.
He actually subscribed to me just recently. But
oh nice. But yeah.
Where's your beef with him?
Where's my beef with him?
Yeah, remember when you said
yeah. Oh yeah. EDP's beefs. I think I still have it up? I think I do. Yeah, EDP I have a beefs with EDP too. So it's not really that good. It's just basically he was just going through a point in time where he was women are awful and I'll never get with one because I need to change myself to be with one and stuff like that. And I was it was a lot of that stuff and him yelling at cursing out managers because he always got fired. And I was like, look, dude, you're just blaming all these people. People were asking me for your beef video with him.
I think it's still up. Let me check.
Yeah, it's still up.
Yeah, it's
but it wasn't even a beef video. He turned it into a beef. It wasn't even me saying anything mean to him, but he just took it so personally.
Yeah. So there's the EDP 445 needs help, the one that has 14K views, and then there was the respectful response.
Yeah, just because I was like, and I did write him like a formal apology via PDF, but like I don't talk to him anymore. Yeah, it was just like I was just trying to give him advice, but it might have came off as like really bad. But I was basically like, this guy can't really get like a former like bit of employment because his name is attached to eat that pussy 445.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I feel
No, he
bad
took down his video response.
for what?
For what?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, like we don't understand the context, and that's kind of my fault because we don't know.
Yeah.
Hold up, I gotta subscribe up to EDP's beefs right now.
Subscribe and get more beefs.
Get the quality beefs that you need.
My favorite EDP video is the one where he goes to Chipotle and just
Oh yeah, and like
he's like, man, I'm just at Chipotle and I just took a giant dump and I darn near clogged the toilet. And I was like, oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh my god.
Oh
no.
dear.
But no, it's the funniest thing imaginable because I didn't know EDP's Beast was actually a Cowboys fan.
Neither did I.
Neither did I. Oh, that video he made responding to you.
Yeah, he took it down.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But like, it was so funny because like, who is the guy that who is the guy? I forget. Oh, Drift Racer is the guy who makes the best roasting videos of EDP ever. It's fantastic. But
Oh, all right, keep going.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were busy. But so what was I gonna say? Do you guys, I remember, and Drift Racer 34. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, he makes the great ones. But there was one, I'm not sure if you remember this, and I told PR or Hank about this. I was talking about how it was like he met with this girl, and then like apparently the girl got told by her mom that like he wasn't a good role model, and like he basically said that she was a female dog, and then like all their crap, basically his emotions got
have you ever seen that show Next on MTV?
Yeah,
it was kind of like that. It's like the girl like it's the common reaction when like a girl decides not to, like, you're like going after her and you're trying to get with her, you're trying to be in a relationship with her, and she just rejects you, and you're like, oh, you're ugly, I didn't like you anyway, you're a total slut or something like that. But like apparently that was his reaction, right?
Pretty much. I mean, like, and again, I'm not, it's just too funny because it's like, like, again, like, girls have cooties, obviously. I mean,
but the issue is the fact that he always somehow, like, with the video, that the response that he did with me, like, I remember I made the video, and I think I had, like, when I uploaded, I think I had like 500 views or something like that. I had like a 5-to-1 like to dislike ratio.
Yeah.
And then after he made his video, I probably had like 10,000 views, and the like to dislike ratio like flipped like 3-to-1.
Yeah,
or something like that. Yeah. And it was like really funny because I was like, the people who, no offense, but like the people who he doesn't really have fans. He kind of has trolls who are like, I bet EDP is the kind of guy who do this, or like EDP is the type of N-word or this N-word or something like that. And it's like,
honestly,
it's like these people don't, like, he'll block people for like criticizing him, but he won't block trolls on his channel because they supply his income.
Look, let's be honest here. I feel like that EDP, Okay, I feel like after that LaShawn McCoy video, like when he got traded, I feel like that's when he changed to kind of cater.
He changed to cater for no. It was before that. It was way before that.
It was when he became a fan. He completely
catered.
No,
he became a fan in '97.
Oof. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean,
it's like at the end of Oh, you mean he acts like the trolls don't get to him?
Yeah, exactly. They do because you could tell.
But like the thing is, he'll like yell at his fans, but he'll be like, all these trolls are saying this and that. I mean, it really did piss me off when he did write that letter to the Washington Redskins thanking them for beating us. Like, I hated Chip Kelly at that time, but not even I was willing to do that. That's just above and beyond, like, stupidity. I mean, and I'm not saying that you're not allowed to criticize the team. I've criticized the team so many times. Like, so many times. I've been like one of the most annoying Eagles fans ever. But I don't do it for like a lot of people said that I did it for attention, but no, I did it because I would do it. I would do that if I would be annoying or good. But the moves that they were making were not good moves. The move to trade LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso, that's not a good trade because you should want to get draft picks for you want to get draft picks for players that you trade, not a guy who was injured the previous season nursing an ACL/ACL or MCL/ACL injury, not getting Jeremy Maclin back. Trading Nick Foles for Sam Bradford, knowing full well that Sam Bradford is worth way more than Nick Foles was worth, money-wise. And Nick Foles had a better resume than Sam Bradford. And I can understand that I was getting kind of annoying in that situation, but like EDP almost does it because he knows. I mean, it's kind of like the reactionary stuff in the sense of, oh, if I say blasphemous things, then I will get like more
Tons
views.
Of views. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the
people with the most views are the people who are the angriest.
Exactly. And I mean, like, obviously it is annoying sometimes because it's like I feel bad because, me personally, I've always thought, no offense to you, Hank, but it's like I always felt that E-Rock was the leader of this.
I agree.
Of the online Eagles community.
I mean, E-Rock and I have had our differences back and forth. I mean, and I mostly blame myself because back in the day, the whole Nick Foles, Michael Vick thing, I was just vehemently adamant about, why would I use those two words like the same phrase? But I was very adamant about Nick Foles starting and not Michael Vick because I felt like Nick Foles was better than Michael Vick, and I was right. And he just happened to be one of those people who I kind of took my frustrations out on.
Why?
Because he would make videos saying that Michael Vick was not that Michael Vick was better, but we need to start Michael Vick. He was more trusting of Chip Kelly than I was. He was way more trusting of Chip Kelly. And that really like upset me. And then one time I think I tweeted him like I forgot what I said, but he said something like, well, you complain about it all the time. And I kind of stopped talking to him after that. And then what was it? After his mom, the Lions beat the Eagles, and his mom was like, Chip, she said something like, Chimp sucks, or something like that. And I was like, I love your mom. And then he gave me a shout out because he was like, yeah, you were totally right the whole time.
Yeah.
But so we were kind of like cool after that. But yeah, E-Rock is definitely I tweeted him recently for like the whole season. He basically was the flagship guy for Eagles fans. I mean, he does that baptism thing, which is pretty awesome.
It's really, like, me personally, I think it's dumb, but like then again, like I live near Philly.
I'm sure like Eagles fans think some of the things that Dallas Cowboys do is really dumb too. So
look at Bills Mafia, for God's sake. Like,
that's probably the dumbest thing. Speaking of the Bills Mafia, and I think this will be the last thing we talk about before we sign off. But did I tell you about what was it? There was a Bills fan on Facebook, and the first things first, Eagles fans get triggered really easily on social media because they are so active on social media. But there was a Bills fan who tweeted, I think he tweeted something along the lines of, it was February 4th. He said something like, 2 years ago today, or 3 years ago today, the Buffalo Bills traded LaShawn McCoy or the Eagles traded LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso, straight up retweet to trigger Eagles fans. And like there were a lot of people in the comments being like, you're an idiot, you're a moron, like what are you talking about? I pretty much just wrote 1 month ago today, the Philadelphia Eagles defeated or won Super Bowl 52, a game the Buffalo Bills have never won, beating the New England Patriots, a team that spanks the Buffalo Bills consistently every single season. Retweet to trigger Bills fans. But it's like the Bills, like I was almost ready to say like, why don't you go like jump on the nearest table? Why don't you? Oof. But like honestly, Bills fans are like people say that Eagles fans are crazy. No. Eagles fans are not crazy. Eagles fans are definitely a lot more abusive. Bills fans are just bordering on utter stupidity because of they'll light themselves on fire. They'll jump on tables. They'll eat like 20-year-old bags of chips. They'll spray each other with ketchup and mustard. It's like, who does that?
Oh, Bills. No, because my buddy, he lives in Albany. He went to a Bills game and he told me like, bro, no.
they even throw dildos onto the field. Like who? Like they throw dildos at Tom Brady. Who does that? I mean, it's classic, but like, dude, the Philadelphia Eagles fans still get crap for booing and throwing snowballs at Santa Claus in 1968, but Bills fans throw dildos at Tom Brady and it's funny. Yeah, you know, like so,
yeah. Do we have anything else to talk about? Because we're kind of just rambling.
We don't. But I guess we can reiterate the fact that, again, if you're new to the channel, and obviously we've had EDP's beefs and JEM 8705. First of all, thank you for being on here listening to us for this stuff. I originally, I guess I dropped the ball too late. I was kind of planning on having people join to discuss, to come on and talk to us on the Hangout, but that didn't really happen. But thank you for being on here with us. We again will be having the podcast on Ricky's channel. If you're late to this kind of game, and I just got a message from Cowboys X Factor. Quickly, I probably should tell him that we're signing off. Yeah. And then next time we are signing off. Next time, but if you would like to be part of this, we might try to do this like every so often.
Yeah. By the way, yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but like I'll be going live in about like 10 minutes to try out my Discord chat to kind of like get people to join in, and it's like what we're doing right now, except Discord, but like. Which Hank doesn't know what it is. Like how people my age don't know what a VCR is. I know what it is. That's how you watch the Cowboys Super Bowls. Exactly. Yeah. But again, if you want to keep I don't know what I'm saying. It's like I'm too tired for this. No, but we're going to be having the podcast, I think basically every Wednesday. We're going to be broadcasting it on Ricky's channel. Yes. I guess what I would say, because Cowboy X Factor is here, one of the reasons why I'm changing the channel name is because I just want to get back to my roots, and I thought I wanted to grow the podcast, and it just
it just wasn't working on my
then
channel,
it
and
blew
Ricky
up.
has a sprawling audience.
Yeah,
And
and I want to make
I
sure.
definitely respect. Yeah, I definitely respect him for that because, I mean, not just respect, but kind of like commend because of where you started with like nothing, and now you have
Something.
well, not something, but like a good amount of something. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and not only that, it helps so that people can hear our opinions, and then like we have an audience.
And then I'm just gonna be taking the clips from the podcast and putting them onto my channel as the weeks go on.
Yeah. So so if you want to get the full podcast, head over to my channel. But if you don't
have the attention span to listen or watch for an hour and 28 minutes, then I'll be putting the highlights on mine.
Exactly. So guys, thank you for tuning in. The 7 people watching. Make sure to subscribe to me. And not only that, subscribe here for the shorter clips. And yeah, so we'll be signing off. I'll be going live in a few minutes. So yeah.
He's live. Holmes.
All right. Don't die, people. Don't make sure to start Butker in your fantasy leagues and
don't start Nick Folk.
Yeah, exactly.